Okay. All right. So we're Cool Topics presentation group number 28, and we're going to be talking about Scala. Uh, so what is Scala? It's basically scalable language, combines object-oriented and functional programming, strong statically typed language. It supports parallelism. The data is stored in a distributed fashion, and it's known for having syntactic flexibility. So the Scala compatibility, it runs off the JVM, is fully compatible with existing Java programs. And there's a compiler called Scala.js that compiles to JavaScript.
There are a multitude of reasons why Scala should be used. Scala supports the usage of most Java IDEs and has many similarities to Java, making a strong language with easy access to an extensive library. Scala compiles to the same bytecode as Java, which is then executed by the Java virtual machine, allowing them to have a common runtime platform. They both also use object-oriented programming, which gives the program the ability to focus on one object at a time. Scala also uses strong and statically typed languages, which allow for precise and understandable code. Though there are many similarities between Java and Scala, Scala has benefits beyond this that make it a useful language. Scala has built-in patterns which promote efficiency within code. Scala also inherently is a cleaner language that gets rid of over-tedious aspects of Java. Scala has become increasingly popular with companies such as LinkedIn, Netflix, and Twitter. Many companies complement Scala's ability for fast iteration to create reliable code.
There are many differences between Java and Scala. Java is known for having a lot of boilerplate code and requiring many lines to accomplish a simple task. Scala, on the other hand, removes it and can cut down the amount of lines a program requires. However, this can lead to Scala being much more difficult to read since there's a lot of nesting. One example of where this can occur is with functions. Functions in Scala are treated as variables and can be passed into functions just like primitive types and objects. This also means functions can be a return type. Speaking of variables, there are two types of variables in Scala, var and val. The main difference is val makes variables immutable. In Java, declaring variables with no modifier makes them visible to the package. Val is the preferred keyword as immutability makes testing and maintaining code a lot easier as well as threat safe. Scala also supports lazy evaluation where variables are only computed when necessary, which increases program efficiency. While Java is compatible with previous versions, Scala is not backwards compatible. The way code is typed differs between the two languages as well. While Scala is statically typed and supports multiple type constructs, Java, on the other hand, is dynamically typed.
So here's some sample code for printing out hello world in both Scala and Java. As you can see, Java has very strict syntax, you've probably seen it before, and requires a declared package and class for each file. In contrast, Scala can forego those steps for smaller tasks such as this. It only defines a main method here. The main method declarations are also different. Java requires the function to be declared as static and void, and the parameter is defined differently, the string array. And Scala, on the other hand, requires neither of those keywords because, as you can see, there's no return type specified, which means the default is a void. And here's a bit more of a larger example. This is a sample class for a car in both Scala and Java. So one of the obvious differences between these two at first glance is the lack of a constructor in Scala. On the right, you see we had to define the whole this dot model, this dot mouse gallon, etc. Whereas on the left, in the Scala class declaration, the parameters there define the constructor. Another difference we can see is that the var keyword is making the variable public, so the private keyword that precedes it has no effect. Within the Scala main method down at the bottom, you can see that the unit keyword is used as another way to declare that this method is void or having no return value. Some other syntax differences that you can see here is when you're assigning a value to a field in Scala, we don't need a semicolon in all cases. You can see this on line 15 on the left, because with the assignment of a value to this field, the end of the line is seen as the end of the expression, whereas in Java, the end of the expression is when you see a semicolon.
So what is Scala used for? Scala can be used for a lot. You can do front-end development using the Laminar library, which builds off of Scala.js and allows developers to build web interfaces. You can also do a lot of backend development with Play, a framework to help create web applications and web APIs. Akka and Zio, which are ecosystems for Scala, contain many tools for concurrency and type-safe programming to help with the backend. If you want to do any sort of data processing, there's the Apache Spark API, which allows you to process large amounts of data relatively quickly and is widely used in big data. And finally, it's pretty easy to create a bunch of microservices in Scala due to the many frameworks and libraries available, including the ones that come from Java.
Okay, that is all we had to say about like an introduction to Scala and how it is different from Java. Thank you all for watching.